Slim hopping in with a part 2 of my unconventional movie review, the movie Joker, Folie à Deux. I literally toggled that movie back and forth in my head for hours last night because it just didn't make sense, and I really felt like that I was missing something. And I honestly believe that I have figured it out now. This is going to be a long video, but bear with me while I tie it together and you tell me whether or not it makes sense to you. I have to set it up because if you think about Batman Begins, that was our first real introduction into the humanized version of Bruce Wayne, right? Because if you think back to the Keaton, Clooney, Kilmer versions, and they were all geared towards comics and the comical aspect of it with Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, and that it was more comical. Stay with me until we get to Bales and Begins, and that's where we saw the more humanized version. So with Joker, the original, we got, is it possible that what they were presenting to us was just a deranged, psychotic serial killer in a clown suit? Gacy, Dom, Bundy. Because the original Joker did a very good job of explaining his descent into madness as a result of sexual and physical abuse, and he just slipped through the system. He slipped through the cracks. So if we're dealing with this deranged psychotic serial killer in a fucking clown suit, it makes sense for him to be in Arkham. It makes sense to, hear me out, create Harley Quinn. She was just a figment of his imagination, like his relationship with the girl, I think her name was Zoe, in the original Joker. It was all in his imagination. Maybe Harley Quinn was supposed to be a figment of his imagination. Stay with me. Now, because that is the only way it makes sense to me that Harley Quinn was able to make Joker doubt himself and second guess himself, and he was defeated. He was a pathetic person. Oh, the Joker really is, but he's much more psychotic in a bolder, more grandiose way. This Arthur Fleck character was defeated. So if we're looking at him as just a human, psychotic, deranged serial killer in a fucking clown suit, it makes sense for him to end up in Arkham and to be possibly murdered. Okay, I understand that. But then you blurred the lines because it did not make sense for Arthur's murderer to then in turn slit his face to give us the impression that he is now going to be the new Joker. That doesn't fit. That's not right. And I will stand 10 toes down in that was wrong. They should have kept him, Joaquin, as the Joker, whether he was either murdered, he just faded to black, or he escaped Arkham and ran off into his life of Joker-isms and faded to black. They could have ended it with Joaquin and just started a new Joker like they did with Keaton, Clooney, Kilmer, Bales. Does that make sense now? And if Harley Quinn was just a figment of his imagination, there was no baby. but they blurred the lines, and that's where I think it confused a lot of people. Because are we looking at him as a human, or are you going in the comic book direction? It kind of straddled the fence. The music, the singing, I totally get. In my first video, I said I understood, or I thought I understood, why they did the music, the musical. But I said it, I really abruptly, I said the shit wasn't necessary. But now it makes even more sense when I look at it this way, because we were literally living in the mind of a deranged, psychotic serial killer in a fucking clown suit. We were in Arthur Fleck's mind, and that was the way his delusion presented himself. Doesn't it make sense when you think about it that way, y'all? And so I take back 92% of everything that I said. I was wrong. I admit that. I understand it if I look at it this way. I was absolutely wrong to say that Lady Gaga was too old. She was absolutely age appropriate. Because they blurred the lines, I was thinking more about the comical, ditzy, silly, young Harley. So that was all my bad. But again, they blurred the lines. But it still would have been totally inappropriate for a very young girl to have been hanging on Joaquin Phoenix. So I understand why they did that now. I was wrong, and I eat that. I was wrong about every part of the review that I gave except for the new Joker. I don't agree, and I will not agree. I will need the screenwriter to tell me why they did that, because it should have just ended. This should have been Joaquin's big finish, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? Does that make sense now that I present it that way? Let me know what you think. Peace, love, and blessings. Luna out.